This episode of London Real is sponsored by X-Brain. If you live in Europe or the UK, get all of your favorite Onnit products like Alpha Brain, Shroom Tech Sport, even the Bulletproof coffee from X-Brain. You get it in a matter of days, no foreign exchange, no customs, no problem. Go to xbrain.co.uk and check it out. I have to ask you about a topic which is almost synonymous with you, which could be one of the greatest marketing ploys ever done in the history of biohackers, but that's with Provigil, which is a
marketing ploy. What's up? I took it for 8 years straight. I penned this.
I was saying, when people think of the Provigil, they think of you now, which is just ridiculous. Well, it's great, but you've been a proponent of Provigil for a long time. I believe it started off as a narcolepsy drug. I think it's very possible Paul G might have a little experience with Provigil, but I was wondering if you could tell us what it is, how you've used it, if you took any today, and for people that don't know, if you could explain what it does.
So Provigil is a drug, like you said, designed for narcolepsy. It came out in the mid-90s, and the stuff's amazing. I took it every day for 8 years, and I started taking it because I actually had some brain fog. I was going to Wharton and getting my MBA full-time and working at a startup that we sold for $600 million. So I was very high-performing. This is the only executive MBA that's the same number of classroom hours as a full-time MBA. So it's basically full-time MBA, full-time work, balls out for 2 years.
Right.
Extremely stressful.
You're in Philadelphia the whole time.
I was actually in San Francisco. They fly the professors to San Francisco for this one.
Wow,
so I was down on the corner, Howard and Spear Street by the water, by the Bay Bridge. It's a pretty cool location. And they let you clump all your class time into like 3 insane days of like 12 and 14-hour days where you get lectures and then you do work and all that. It was a really awesome experience at the Wharton Executive MBA. I think they call it Wembo West. But that on top of working full time was just a lot. And I thought, I'm going to try Provigil. I went to the doctor, got a prescription for it. And honestly, the doctor thought I was hitting him up for Adderall because a lot of students want to take Adderall.
Okay. This is 8 years ago.
This was more than that. This was 10 or so years ago. I took it for 8 years straight, and I take it varying amounts now.
Okay.
So I just did like pretty much every day for 8 years. I took off, weekends here and there, but for the most part, it was always there. And
did you consider Adderall?
I tried Adderall first.
Okay.
In fact, insurance companies want you to try Adderall first.
Okay.
And man, I don't think that's good for you, for one thing. But another thing, man, I don't know, whenever I take it, I'm like, don't touch my skin. Like it made me tweak a little bit. It was like,
Okay.
So some people can take it and they feel really good. But, people who've tried Adderall, even for long periods of time, a lot of them, when they try Modafinil or Provigil, the trade name for it in the US, they're like, it's like meth, but cleaner. Like you don't get the buzzy high. You just feel more like yourself, and that's pretty profound, and your ability to pay attention just goes way up.
It could be the new slogan, like meth but cleaner.
I'm sure the drug companies would just love that. And in fact, people accuse me after I was on the Joe Rogan show of being like a paid shill for the pharmaceutical industry. I'm like, I'm all over big pharma as like, you guys suck, right? But this is a drug that actually does some amazing stuff, and I think the safety profile is pretty good on it. And people say, there's no long-term studies, but there's lots of things that are sold and then recalled with no long-term studies. This stuff has been around since, the company got sued in 1997 for claiming it improved performance. So they quit marketing it that way. But it still does improve performance. They're just not legally allowed to say it does. So I'll say it does. It works.
You've never been shy about it. You've never hidden the fact that you've been taking it.
I actually put Modafinil in my LinkedIn profile almost 10 years ago, right? And I figured
consciously.
I figured it was like this. People who see it and know what Modafinil is will want to talk to me. And people who see it and don't know what it is will just ignore it.
Again, marketing genius.
It's a neutral term.
Well, it seems like 1 in 10 Silicon Valley executives that I've talked to over the years, they'd see that. And I also put like yoga and meditation and stuff in there. And they'd be like, oh. And all of a sudden they'd open up and tell me all this stuff that they also did, but it was like this little secret. So I'm like, screw it. Why should it be a secret? Like if it works for me, why shouldn't it work for, a 25-year-old who's like struggling to get his brain to do what he wants it to do and working really hard? If it's not going to harm him and it's going to improve performance, or who knows, maybe it will harm him a little bit, but the performance benefits are really great and he judges as a functioning adult that it's what he wants to do, I think it's our right to do that because it's our right to drink a beer. And honestly, drinking a beer every day is far more harmful than taking a little bit of Provigil, especially if you're not going to take it every day. So we can smoke and we can drink and we can even use coffee. All of those are drugs. But for some reason, there's a special class for Modafinil and it's cheating. Yeah, okay, it's cheating, fine. At least I admitted I did it.
So other things you mentioned have hundreds of years of use, so at least we know the exact side effects.
Yeah, but we know it kills you, and people still do it, right? Like smoking
Yeah.
is just bad for you. Nicotine, probably not bad for you. I actually have a milligram of nicotine dissolving in my mouth right now.
Okay, guys, I've got some of the nicotine gum. Apparently, it's good for creativity and stuff like
It
that.
is,
I haven't
and
used it that much.
The nicotine gum, though, has some unsafe sweeteners in it. The little lozenges that Nicorette makes, the very smallest ones, I take half one of those some days, a very low dose. But yeah, it helps with creativity and energy, and like it's good for you.
And you're taking some right now.
Absolutely.
Tricky.
It's tucked in right there.
Okay, so now with you and modafinil, it's something you still use? Don't use as much as you used to?
You know, I took it in decreasing doses. I used to use like 400 milligrams a day, like the maximum dose. And I cut myself back to 200 milligrams. I experimented with dosing. And then
What's
after
the maximum dose you should take?
the maximum dose is 400 a day, 2 by 200. And there's a new version of it out, nuvigil, which is basically the new patented version of it that's one of the isomers. That's even cleaner than the normal modafinil, but it's harder to get and much more expensive. So I took the stuff and I'm like, all right. I found that I needed less of it over time. In part, I think because my brain got so used to being in a high performance, like ability to focus whenever you want to, it just gets wired that way. The other potential reason you might want to take it is that if you're going to be tired, being tired itself is a psychological stressor for you. And you walk around going, God, I'm so tired. How am I going to get everything done? Ooh. Well, when you do that, it raises your cortisol levels. So it's possible that when you're tired, but you just take away the tired feeling, that itself may have a protective effect. So if the fact of the matter is that you have jet lag, or that you only got to sleep 3 hours last night because that's what your job or your life demanded of you at that time, you want to walk around as a zombie the next day, or you want to walk around feeling great? Well, feeling great actually is less stressful than feeling like crap all the time. So there isn't a study that says this is true. It's a theory. It's a theory from a physician friend of mine, so who knows? But the bottom line there is that I took it in decreasing doses because I found that I just needed less of it. Then after I went on the Joe Rogan show, a lot of people, especially the day after I was on, Joe was like, well, Dave didn't tell us about his modafinil. And I'm like, dude, I told CNN and Nightline flew the host of Good Morning America to my house and filmed for 2 days. I feel like I've disclosed this adequately to the world. But in case, in fact, sitting in front of me on the desk on the Joe Rogan show was the testosterone that I use. I've been a bioidentical testosterone replacement since I was 30 because that's when my blood tests show worked because I used to be obese. And I've been on Provigil for a long time and I don't hide it. So some people are like, well, you've been hiding it. I'm like, no, we just talked about more interesting stuff.